Okay, which tools? Yeah, edge tools. So in edge tools there are two tools. One was multi-cut and the other one was insert edge tool. In a similar way we learned extruding. Okay. Yeah, so in extruding, how do we extrude? With the help of control. Shortcut is control. And in extrude we can pull out, we can insert inside, okay, we can extrude inward, or we can offset. Okay, with the help of scale tool, or we can directly add number to the offsets column. So these are some of the editing ways how we can edit. So for today we'll start modeling something. Okay, we'll take a easiest thing, a model. Okay, we'll take a model. Okay, any model. Model for. First thing before modeling, we need good reference of that what we are modeling. Okay. If you have perfect reference, if from every view, you need perfect reference from every view. Then only you can replicate that model, right? So whenever you are starting modeling, you need a perfect image, reference image of that model, so that you can model easily. First, we'll take a very easy bottle. Okay, this seems to be very easy. Okay, alright, let's take this one. Or this one. Okay, this is easy. Alright, we'll take this. Now, for bottles, you know it is cylindrical and it will be similar to all the sides will be similar. Okay, the front view will be similar to the right view will be similar to the left view, and the back view will be similar to all these views, right? So we don't have to take multiple views over here. Now we know how the bottle looks. But in case of car, if you are modeling a car, you need all the views from it, right? So whenever where there is need, you will have to download all the proper references. And for now, this is a basic model. But when we are modeling detailed models, what we do is we first we take down the blueprints. Okay, we have the blueprints, and then we search for that model. So if you're modeling, for example, if you're modeling cars, so any car, if I'm Audi A R8, okay. So what we'll do is we have the reference of four sides, the front, top, back, side. We have that, okay. But after that, after having those references also, we download some other references, some close view, close up views, so that we can properly look at where there are dents, where it is going inside. So, okay, so even if you have four references, you have to download more. And you have to look at those images, okay, before modeling, so that you have a proper view of that before modeling. So now, if I'm taking R8, I'll take the blueprint first. Okay, what is the blueprint? All the four sides. All right, this one. This is the blueprint. I have this, but the real model, I have to view the real model also. Okay, when we are modeling with the blueprint, it is just 2D. So when we are modeling, we need 3D images also like that. So in reference, you have to download all these good images where you can properly see where the lines are there, where the edges are properly coming. Okay, because when you're doing with the blueprint, okay, R8. Okay, when you are modeling with the blueprint, you can't see, this is a 2D drawing, you can't see the edges where it is the this you can see these edges coming down here. There are some cuts, there are a lot of cuts in supercars, so you can't see these cuts over here. So for that proper reference, you have to take many references also. So blueprint, first you take blueprint for modeling, and then you have many reference. So whenever you're modeling, try to look into those reference, try to read that references, see it from every other view, front, top, perspective, bottom, every view, so that this helps in modeling. Okay, so whenever first step of modeling is finding reference, proper references. Okay. It is similar to, like, whenever a director starts a movie. Okay, so whenever he starts a movie, he'll find references of that movies. Okay, how the look and development, the look and dev part. Okay, how it look, the scenario. If it is a 1950s movie, the scenario, how will the city look? So he'll search for references, past references, and then he'll come there. Then these movies are built. So the first step for everything, this in modeling is looking into references, downloading references. Okay, as many as you can, as much as you can. Okay, hold on. The new model, the new folder here. Folder name is copy. I'll save it over. Alright. Okay, perfect. So there are few ways to start. But first, you have the reference, and now there are two ways. Okay, when we are making a single object, we don't. It is not necessary we use that way. It is usually used for when we are making a complete scene or something like that. But then also I'll tell you what way is it. It is a way to set the project. Okay. We can directly save the project like this. Control S. Okay. We can save the project directly like this, or from file save scene as. It will directly save a Maya file over there. Or else you can set a project. It is this set project is mostly used for scenes. If you have a big scene or something like that, because it is in set project. What happens is it is. Look, I'll show you. When you set project something, okay, when you set project something, you have various. There's a folder created, okay, main folder, and in that there are subfolders. Okay, and the subfolders, the name of subfolders are these, all these. So what happens is the scene is saved in this part, in scenes. Your texture, whichever texture you take, is saved in source images. Okay, and sound script, whatever it is. So if it's a big scene, you if you save it in a set project manner, what happens, it saves in a systematic way. Okay, set project, I'll tell you this part, I'll tell this part a little later when we start modeling interiors and everything. So it will be a little clear to us. Why we do it is because it forms a systematic, it forms a systematic folder there. And you can, when you have a big scene, there are a lot of textures, there are scripts, there are sounds and all. So if you are animating it, so what it does is it saves everything in their respective folder. So it is a systematic way. So for now it is okay to not remember that. So now where we have to focus is when you open this Maya, you're starting the modeling part. You took the reference, everything is done. You have the reference of that image. You are modeling a bottle. You know how the bottle looks. You have the references. You have the front view for the bottle. Now what we have to do is we have to add that front view reference image in this viewport. Okay, this is a viewport. You have to add that image in this viewport. Now what we'll do is, how to add is, which view is this? The bottle we saved. Wait. Bangalore bottle. Okay, which view is this? This is the, no, view. This can be front. This can be back, because the bottle will be a same thing. Okay, the same view. It won't change. The front view won't change. The back view won't change. It is proper. It is equal in all sides because it's a cylinder. So we can take this image in front view also, in side view also, in whichever view you want, not in top view, okay, because the bottle isn't flat, okay, inside, top, inside, front or back. So it is better you take it in front. You can take it anywhere, but it is better you take it in front. So where is the front view? This is the 4 view panel, okay. Hit it, spacebar. You know, I'm guessing that, I'm assuming that you might be knowing all this by now. If you press spacebar, you can go into that. If you press spacebar again, you get 4. Or else you can click here, okay. So this is your front view. In that front view panel, if you go inside, or if you directly click here, whichever way you want, I'll go inside and click in this view. Okay, you can see this view. When you click view and you go down, here you can see image plane. Image plane. When you keep your mouse cursor on that image plane, what happens is there are 2 options available: import image, import movie. So what does this mean? You can import an image and you can import a movie. Now what do we have? We have an image. So what will you import? We'll import a movie, okay. Alright. You can see my screen, Suresh? Okay. So now what we'll do is view, image plane, and import image. And whenever images, just select that. Here it is. Displayed over here. One main thing I forgot to tell you is, one tell the people, the main thing for starting a modeling is, after references you have, the references, you open Maya. Now what you have to do is, you need to know this, the unit of this report. Then you can see this grid, there are boxes, right? The boxes. The boxes 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see, right? This is grid. This is known as grid. So there might be some unit of this. There is some unit of this. So you should know that unit for modeling. Because whenever you're modeling professionally for a client or someone for any studio, you'll be given the diameters. If you're modeling a building, if you're modeling something some architectural thing, you'll be given dimensions that your building should be, your room should be 12 feet high. The length will be 12 by 10. Alright, you know that room there in dimensions. So for that, if you have, you need to know what unit is it. If you are given foot, you need to turn this unit into foot. The dimensions are given in inches, you can turn into inches. Same way, the bottle. Okay, you should know what real life. I'm telling you this beforehand because you should have an habit of this, because whenever you go in studios or you'll be working in real time thing. So what happens is, usually the bottle size should be, the bottle height should be same to the real time thing, because it will be kept in a scene where a character is moving, a character is picking that bottle. If that bottle is higher, if that bottle is tall, so it won't be happening, right? So if you keep this habit before, so you won't be having later on. So how to change these unit is, you go in Windows and setting preferences, and over here you can see preferences. Okay. Yeah, when you click Windows, setting preferences, in that preferences, Windows, setting preferences, and preferences. Alright, so in this you have to search for settings. This dialog box will open. This is the preference dialog box. It opens. When it opens, you have to search for setting option. This is your setting option. Now you can see the working units. It is written working units. So this working unit, in this working unit you can see linear, and over here you can read it is centimeter. Yeah, working units you can see over here. In linear you can see centimeter. So what does that mean? The unit of this viewport is in centimeters. Okay, if you click this drop down, you can see there are various other measuring units. So if it is centimeter, then what does it mean? This box, it is 1 by 1 centimeter. It means from here to here it is 1 centimeter. Here to here it is 1 centimeter. From here to here it is 1 centimeter. If you take a cube, if you take a cube, the cube will appear, it will be 1 centimeter. Why? Because the working unit is in centimeter. If it read this, and once you've modeled everything and you try to change the working unit, it won't change. Okay, if you try to change the working unit, the size of this will not change, the model size. The grid size will change, but the model size won't change. Before starting modeling, you have to make these changes. Alright, after that you have to scale the object. So now look here, it was centimeter, the boxes were small. Now I'll change it to foot. Why am I taking foot? It is my personal preference that because for now there are no measurements of this bottle. Okay, I don't have any given measurements for this bottle. So for my personal preference, I prefer foot. Why do I prefer foot? Because we can assume foot easily, better than inches or better than millimeters. Okay. Why? Because we know what is the length of the foot. It is around 30 centimeter. 1 foot is 30 centimeter, approx 30 centimeter. All right, approx our leg, that is 1 foot. So we can assume it. And second thing is, okay, let's change again Windows, Preference, Settings, where foot. Okay, when I change foot, you can see the boxes became enlarged. The box's size increased. Why? Because it changed from centimeters into foot. Now this one, from here to here, it is 1 foot. Okay, then save. And if you take a cube now, this cube will be of 1 foot, 1 by 1 foot. Alright, do you understand what exactly the working units is? Okay, and foot, one more thing is we can easily assume with foot is, we know average person is 5-6 foot. Okay, between 5 to 6 foot, an average person. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in character also you can directly assume easily in foot, if you are in foot. And now if this is a character, what will the size of your bottle be? It will be something like this much. Alright, approx 1 foot. Your bottle is this much, right? Now, if your character is this big, your bottle should be this much. Or it should be bigger. A little bigger. This much is okay. Right? So this way you can easily assume if the size is not given. So I prefer foot. It is up to you if you prefer foot or any other measurement, but I'll suggest always try to keep it in foot only, because you can assume it very easily. Even if you're making a car model, you can assume it, because in practical life you've seen what is the length of a car. Okay, if it's a supercar, it will be below our shoulder. If it's a SUV, it will be above our head. So you know, if it's a SUV, it should be approx 6.5 foot higher or something like that. Okay, so it becomes the assuming thing becomes easier if you're in foot. So now you know how to change this Windows setting preferences, and in that, okay, over here foot, yeah, and save it. So now you got your working unit has changed into foot. Now you can work. Okay, and now you can take your reference image too. If I had already placed that reference image and then changed the working unit into foot, what had happened was the reference image would have been according to that centimeter unit. So it might have been this smaller. So that is the reason I told you before starting modeling, before inputting any image, the first thing you have to do is when you open Maya, first go in Windows, change your working unit, and then input your reference image. Now I'll input my reference image. Where was my reference image? Whichever view the reference image is, go into that panel's view menu. Over there you can find image plane, import image, and import the image wherever the location is. Alright, so here it is. I imported it. It's a little smaller. We'll increase the size. What was the size we were deciding? It will be, the bottle size will be a little above 1 foot. Alright, so we can improve, increase the size like this. This much is okay, right? A little above 1 foot. This is perfect. You can create now. This is a size. Keep it perfectly over here. And always, this is a grid. This is a grid, okay? And you can see this darker line in center. Now, this darker line. This is your, this point. Oh yeah, this is your origin in center. The center point is your origin. So every time when you are check whenever you are modeling, when you are in front view, try to keep a model above this line, this horizontal line. You can see this horizontal line. Every time keep a model above that line. All right, not below it, because it, you can do it in the end also, or in the beginning also. Okay. Because whenever you are we will export something, we'll export this model into other, so the transformation, there shouldn't be any transformation errors. So try to keep your model, do not try, you should keep your model over there. Okay. So the best way is to exactly keep your model over here on this thing is, first thing is, because it is practically not possible if you just keep moving like this and adjust like this, and when I zoom in you can see there's still gap. It should snap properly on this line. Okay, so there is one way is, wait. Okay, first I'll take a object and then I'll show you. So this was the image. Now which image, which object should we start with? Which polygon primitive should we start with? Cylinder. Okay. So you should be able to know. You should be able to guess with which polygon primitive a model will be made easier, and it will be the perfect fit for that. Okay. So for this it is cylinder. So we'll take a cylinder. You can take it from here, and but we learn only shortcuts. Okay, so we can model easily. So shift right click. When you press shift right click and drag your mouse over here. This is a cylinder. Alright, this is a cylinder. Now whenever we are modeling, before starting, during our first class I had mentioned there are low poly in games, it is low poly, in movies it is high poly. Alright, so similar to that, whenever we model, the modeling thing for gaming and movie is same. So whenever we model, we start modeling, we start from low poly. We try to model the whichever polygon we have, we try to take it as much as low we can. Okay, so that we can edit easily. We can do anything. If it's a high poly, it will become a little tougher to edit. So what we do is we make this cylinder into a low poly first. Well, okay, because why, you can see here, if you count, there are 20 subdivision axes. These are 20 if you count. We'll lower the number. Okay, we'll decrease the number of subdivision axes. Huh? Okay, I'll tell. This is the default number. Whenever you take anything, if you take a cylinder, this is the default number. It is 20. It will be 20 lines. Okay, and how do you know that? Is by pressing, first select this object, stay in object mode, and press A, Control A. What is Control A? I told you. Control A is for this region. Okay, when you press Control A, you can switch between channel box and attribute editor. Okay, see Control A. Yeah, this is your attribute editor. Again, I'll press Control A. Your channel box will appear. This is your channel box. Okay, and yeah, in channel box you can see over here input. You can see polycylinder 1. Okay, in channel box you can see polycylinder 1. Yeah, look here now. Polycylinder 1. Alright. In this polycylinder 1 you can see all the all the details of this cylinder in this. When you click over here, look, when you click over here, you can see all the details of this. The radius is, what is the radius? 1. Height is 2. Subdivision axis 20. This is what I was saying, 20. Okay. What is subdivision axis? This, if you count. Alright. So, and subdivision height and subdivision cap. What is height? We'll tweak everything. Look, now radius. What is radius? If I increase radius, this is radius. What is height? Height will be that, this thing. All right. And subdivision axis. This is the main thing. So from 20, what we'll make it a little lower poly. So which number should we take? We probably no, not 10. Whenever you start with 8. Whenever you take a cylinder and you start with low poly, you start with 8. Okay. We'll take 8. Okay, this is a low poly cylinder. Alright, and these are subdivision height. What is subdivision height? Look, when I add, it was 1, right? So when I add 2, what happened? It added an edge. When I add 3, it will divide it into 3 parts. This is subdivision height. And what is subdivision cap? This is a cap. Which part is a cap? This is a cap. The upper part. Alright, this is a cap. And lower part, this is a cap. Okay. Is this clear? Which is what part is what part is the cap? Or a subdivision cap? If you increase the subdivision cap number, what happened? It added an edge over here on the cap. Okay. So these are the settings. You can go through it once whenever you're practicing. Just speak. You'll get to know about it. So the main thing we wanted to do is we wanted to turn. Yeah, Control A, attribute editor. This is our attribute editor. Again, if you press Control A, this is a channel box. So with the help of Control A, you can switch between both of these. Okay, both of these dialog boxes. Okay, now so our main work was to lower the subdivision axis. Okay, so that we can start a model with low poly. So the steps, you just have to keep these steps in mind whenever you're modeling. First step is, when you're modeling is, first step of modeling is make the shape. In low poly model, take a low poly primitive. This is a low poly primitive, polygon primitive, and with the help of this, you have to create a low poly shape, just the shape of the bottle. You don't have to create any details. So that part is known as blocking. Okay, what is blocking? You just create the shape of that bottle. Okay, so modeling is divided into these parts. First is blocking, and then you do detailing on that. Okay, so in detailing there are two things. Okay, I'll tell you when we start detailing. Alright, so first we'll start with blocking. And why do we do blocking first? Why can't we directly start with detailing, detail models? Yes, we do it because, yeah, okay, we do it because first thing is this, whenever we are modeling, okay, whenever we model something, so if we start from detailing and we finish the model and we want to make some changes again, so it will be very tough for that to happen because we've spent so many hours in detailing everything. So we can't change everything, or else we'll have to scrap it, or else we have to follow a lot of steps because it will become high poly. Okay, so we'll have to delete some edges and all. So that is one thing. The other thing is, if you have this low poly model with you, if blocked properly, so you can assume by just seeing the blocking part, you can look at the model and think, okay, if this is looking proper or not. Because at that stage we can edit anything because it is low poly. It is just the blocking. So at that stage, when the bottle is created, the blocking is done, we can look at the model and see if the shape is proper, if the height of the bottle is proper, okay, if the bottle is looking proper, and that bottle can be used for whenever we in production houses, whenever we make movies, so we tend to use low poly models first, okay, when they are animating. okay, when they're animating, because if we use high poly models, the uh, meshes, the software will start lagging, because when you're creating a movie, when you're animating a movie, there is background, there are many other elements, there is characters. Okay, so we give low poly models to them. We give blocking models. Okay, the block models. Okay, after they have done the animation, when everything is ready to render, we'll switch that low poly with the high poly model, and the part will start animating. So it is just that the animation becomes a little smoother. Okay, so there is no lag while animating. While for the animators there is no trouble. So we use low poly models, blocking models. So this block, I hope this blocking part is clear. When we start modeling, we first what we do is we block the model. Yeah, we block the model. Why? Because so that we can change the model afterwards if we don't want that any shape or anything like that. So basically, what is blocking? Just the shape of that bottle, the outline of that bottle, or the silhouette of the bottle. Okay. Okay. So I'll tell you how to model block first. So starting with blocking. Okay. First thing, what we have to do is, this cylinder is huge. We'll have to lower the size according to that reference, according to our reference. So how to scale it down, which is the scaling tool. Yeah, R. R is the scaling tool, not controller. W is move, E is rotation, R is scaling tool. This is a scaling tool. Okay, boxes. I told you how to remember these boxes. W, arrows, is moving tool. E, rotation. R, scaling. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll scale it from the between box. Okay, by clicking the between box, the middle box. Why? If we do it like this, it will scale overall. And if we scale it like this, what will it happen? It's a cylinder. Okay, every time keep in mind. Now, when you look in perspective, now in front view it is looking better. It is looking okay. But in perspective, you see what happened. It became flat. Okay, why? What we did is we just scaled it from one angle, one axis. It's a cylinder. Whenever you're working with cylinder, how to scale it down? From between. Yeah, everything should be equal. You can't scale it from single axis because it's a cylinder, right? It should be equal. So what we do is we scale it with the middle box, with the help of middle box. So click in the middle box, left click and drag it and scale it down. Okay, and check. Whenever you're modeling, check. Always keep checking from different views. Okay, because if you keep modeling here, if you keep modeling, it might look fine, it might look okay, but from the other view it might, there might be some vertices which have moved from here and there, okay, while you were modeling from the front view. Okay. That is the reason, this is a 3D software, so you have to switch sides whenever you're modeling. So once you've modeled something like this, change side view, okay, then again come back and then again change whenever you edit. Okay, so whenever you edit, look from all the sides. Alright, so this thing was clear. How did I how did I scale it from between? Always keep in mind, scale it from between, because all the beginners have this problem. They'll always scale it from here, and then later on they'll model everything and then they switch to sides and they see the bottle has flattened. So always whenever you're scaling, scale it from between. Alright, so now this is a shape. We'll approximate, you don't have to exactly the size, the width of that, you don't have to match exactly the width of that, just approximate will do. Okay, this much is fine. And what you have to do is, as I mentioned, this box, this polygon should be over this grid. All right. Okay, like this. Now look here. It is perfectly snapped over that grid. Okay, how did I do that? Okay, how did I do that? By snapping it. Okay. So first thing is you'll have to move your pivot. What is pivot? Yeah, that line, this arrows, this is a pivot. Okay, this is, what is this? Pivot. What is it? Yeah, pivot. Keep in mind, this is pivot. Okay. Okay, so this, you have to move this pivot over here in this part. So for that, for moving that pivot, you have an option. Just press D. Okay, and move. It's okay if you don't keep this in mind. When you'll be practicing, I'll tell you again, and you'll, you can remember it easily. Okay, press D. Okay, when you press D, you can see you can move this pivot now. All right. So press D, and then you have to press V. D plus V together. What happens is, first press D and then press V. With the help of V, what happens? It snaps. The pivot snaps to this object. Look here. It will snap. It is snapping. D, V. First press D. With the help of D, you can move the pivot. And with the help of V, you can snap that pivot. So D and V. And now when you go down, directly it snapped into that object, into that vertex, right? Look, it is snapping directly. If I leave if I leave V, look how it won't snap now. It is coming direct. It has become smooth, right? So when we press V, it will snap. With the help of D, you can move the pivot. With the help of V, you can snap. So when we press D and V together, it will snap that pivot. So just keep in mind that with the help of D, we can move the pivot. And with the help of V, we can snap it. Okay, what does V do is, it snaps. Look here, when I take two cylinder, these are two cylinders here. Okay, now this vertex, I'll press V. Alright, what happened? It snaps. Look at this vertex is snapping on every other vertex. So with the help of V, it is a little complex thing, a little advanced thing. So it's okay if you get, if you don't remember this for now. Okay, so D and V, and take it down. Okay, just pull it down like this. It won't go below the object, because with the help of V, you can only snap in the object area. Okay, now it is down proper. Now what, second thing what we have to do is, we have to snap this thing over here. We can directly take it down like this, but as I earlier mentioned, it won't perfectly sit on this line, this black line. So look here, you'll have to zoom in, then go like this is time consuming. Okay, the easier way is, just press X. So now X, what does X do? It will snap, like it is similar to V. It snaps, but V snaps the object. Okay, okay, with the help of V, you can only snap vertex edges to the object. Okay, you can only snap the object part, but with the help of X, you can snap that object with the grid. This is your grid. Okay, so when we press X, you can snap that object on any part of the grid. Look, what happened? It is snapping directly on any part. Okay, directly from line to line. Look, from point to point, it is snapping. Okay, so same way, what we have to do is press X and pull it down like this. Look, it directly snapped into it. It directly stuck over there. So you don't have to go inside and check, because you snapped it and now it is properly sitting on that. So this is the easiest way. So your model is now settled properly. Okay, this part you can do it later also if you want to do it. Okay. So now, for now, what we'll do is, wait. Okay. So this is, the width of the bottle is matched. Now we have to match the height. Now how do we increase the height? Yeah, vertex mode. Go to vertex mode and select the upper vertex. The all upper vertex. I mean front view only. Okay, select all the vertex. And just with the move tool, with the help of move tool, take it, move above like this. Alright, till this much. because the upper part is the lid part. Okay, we'll create it later on. The bottle is only till here. Okay, till here. How did I do? Again, I went to vertex mode and I selected this, the upper part. How did I select it? Left clicking. If you right click, nothing will happen. If you left click, drag, left click, drag, left click. It is similar to this thing. If you want to select everything, you left click, drag. Okay, it is same way it is here. Look here. Left click, drag, left click, drag. You know this? Same way. Left click, drag. Okay, whichever you want to select. If you want to select just this, left click, drag, and it'll select everything. Now look, go to perspective view. How to go to perspective view? Press space bar, Maya, left click over there, and perspective. Now look, everything is selected. Alright, so this way you can select. So now, with the help of move tool, with the help of scale tool or move tool, how can I take it above? How can I increase the size? No, how can I move the scale tool? With the help of move tool. I've selected this now. Huh? Yeah, the selected part will come up, not full. Okay, now yeah, this is the height. Okay, we match the height. Now we have to match the shape because you can see this part. It is it is going inside like this and then coming out, right? So we have to match the shape. So now what we can do is first thing I taught you this thing over here, this X-ray thing. I hope you remember this X-ray. Okay, when you press this option here, X-ray option, what happens? You can see through that. Okay, now you know what is the use of that option. You can see through that. Is it visible like this? Okay, you can see the image, reference image. Now we have to do what we have to do is we have to add edges. We'll add edge one here, one edge over here, and one edge in the center, so that we can take the center edge inside. Now look how will I do it? First, how to add edges? Which tools are used for adding edges? Which tool? Yeah, insert edge loop or multi-cut. Alright, so whichever tool you want you can use. I'll use multi-cut. Where was the multi-cut tool? In tools option, mesh tools. And the shortcut for it, shift right click. Keep this in mind, okay? So first thing is, first go in edge mode. You want to add an edge. So where, which mode will you switch it? In edge mode, you'll go in edge mode. So from object mode, you'll go in edge mode. Right click, edge mode, and then shift right click on the object. Okay, shift right click, you'll see multi-cut. Okay, when you press shift right click, you can see multi-cut. Drag your right click over here. Do not click over here, okay? Do not click on this box over this. Now, what we'll add exactly over here, you can see now we can add like this one over here. Why? Because from here it is going inside. Same here also. We'll add over here. Why? Because from here it is going inside. Now, a center edge here. Alright. Now, what will I do is I'll select this center edge. How did I select this whole edge loop? Okay, not just one side, one edge. I'll select this whole edge loop because uh, we have to decrease. Okay, we have to squeeze it from all the sides. We just don't have to squeeze from between. Okay, from all the edges. So I selected the whole edge from here. Look here. How to select the whole edge loop? Ah, good one. Double click. Double click. When you double click, the whole edge is selected. Now what you have to do is you have to put it inside so that you can create this circular shape. Okay, you can create this convex shape over here. Alright. So what you'll do is, wait, this is concave, huh? What? Why? For that you'll have to take scale tool first. You have to scale it down. You have to decrease the size. So you'll take scale tool. Okay. This is your concave. Okay, this shape you have to build, right? So what you'll do is you'll double click this edge, you'll select all the edges, go in perspective, and just see whether everything is selected. Alright. And then again front view, scale tool. Yeah, yeah. Scale tool. Because you are working in 3D, you need to know everything is properly done. Okay. So if you keep a habit of that, later on when you are making complicated objects, you'll have an habit of it, and you'll keep checking. So you'll be up. You don't have any problem with that. So now scale tool, and I'll scale it down like this from between. Okay. Don't just scale it from sideways. If you do it like this, now go in perspective. Now look, the shape will change. It won't do properly. Only this is coming inside, but this is not coming inside. You can see this. If I'll switch off this, see this is straight, but from here you can see this is coming inside. So that is the reason whenever you're working with a cylinder, do it from between like this. Take it in and match it properly like this. Okay, this is way. All right. Now you got this shape like this. The thing is just that it is circular, a little circular. So we'll create it later on. It is okay. So now this much is clear. This is our blocking part. Okay. So we've created this a little up. We'll take no. We've snapped it. We've snapped that cylinder down. Okay. So don't no need to move this. Now we've created this. We'll take this thing down. Vertex mode. We'll take this thing down till here. Why? Because from here it is going upward. Look, right? It is going upward. So how will we create that? We can create it with the help of adding edges or with the help of extrude, as I had mentioned. Okay. So if you want to directly do it with edges, how you can do it is take it a little above. Okay, till here. Go to multi-cut. Shift right click multi-cut. Select this. Okay, and now go to vertex mode and select the upper edge, upper vertex, and zoom it. Sorry, scale it down from between. Okay, the shape is created. This is one method. The other way is with the help of extrude. How will you do it? Go to perspective view. Okay, go and select first. Select this cap, this whole cap. How to select this whole cap? Select one, tab, press tab key, and just left click drag it over every and it is selected. Okay, now it is selected. Go in front view. Now for extrude, what is it? Control E. Control E. Okay, when you press Control E, this option appears. That means extrude has happened. Okay, you've extruded it. Now what will I do is I'll press W. Okay, I don't want to mess with this thing. Wait. Okay, Control E. Okay, you can directly pull with this, but I prefer to press W and then pull it. Okay, a new thing is created, a new layer, all this whole loop is created. So now you can zoom, scale it down like this. Over. Perfect. The shape is created now. This is going inside. Now what is happening is it is going upward. Right? What is happening? It is going from here, it is going up like this, right? From here it is going up like this till here. Okay, till here. Correct? Right now? The bottle shape is like that. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll select this. Again we'll select this. We are doing this by extrude. Okay, so we'll have to select the cap, the upper cap. And don't just simply pull it upper. Now what again we have to extrude. Control E. Okay, and W and just take it up. The bottle is created. Okay, easy. This is the basic shape of your bottle. We didn't make the cap. Okay, we'll make that cap later on. So this is a basic blocking part. Okay, you've blocked. Okay, now you can see whether if you want to make any changes, if you want to decrease the height, now you can easily make any changes on this. Why? Because it is low poly, and it is just the shape, outline of that. So you can change it anyhow you want. All right. So now you know how what exactly blocking is used for. Why we block first and then we detail. So this was your blocking part. I hope this is clear. For today, we'll just sum up here because it will get little complicated if I move on. Okay. Do you have any doubts regarding this? Is it clear? Everything is clear? Alright, I'll take your attendance, then we can end the session. Okay. Alright then, if everything is clear, we'll start, we'll move on to during our next session, lecture, we'll